Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today on career guidance in football. It's a great pleasure to have everybody connecting. In just a moment, we will introduce our guests. But before we do that, I just want to make sure that the sound is coming through okay on your end. So if you can type in the chat box, yes, and if you can also tell us where you're connecting from. We always like to find out where our audience is coming from. So if the sound is coming through okay, just go ahead and type in the chat box and put yes and your city. Okay, so we have Eric from Oslo, welcome. Coventry, Sweden, London, okay, fantastic. Nottingham, Paris, Colombia, Portugal, yes, fantastic. Kirkcaldy, Bratislava, Paris, Hull, Greece, Sao Paulo, wow, fantastic. Great to have such a diverse audience from all over the world. So let me begin by introducing myself. My name is Diego Valdez. I am the director at the Sports Business Institute, Barcelona. And what we do is we specialize in providing training for those that are looking to start, that are looking to advance their career in the football industry. We have numerous courses, numerous training programs that we run throughout the year. And today we have the great pleasure of having the consultants from Sport Careers. We have Piero Carino and Dylan Webster, who will be joining us today. And the whole point of the session today is to provide value to you in the sense of understanding how to optimize your job search in the football industry. So if you want to learn more about how to optimize your CV, how to improve your LinkedIn presence, where to look for jobs, and the importance of cover letters and tailoring them to specific job opportunities, stick around because these guys have some really interesting tips that they're going to be sharing with us. At the end, we're going to be opening it up for your questions, your Q&A. It'll be a Q&A session for you to ask any questions that you may have. Maybe you have some doubts, maybe you want some advice where to take your career. There will be an opportunity to ask us questions at the end. And then also we're going to talk a little bit about some special promotions that the guys at Sport Careers have for you guys, as well as one of our training courses that is coming up next week. But the focus is not about us today. It's about you guys. It's about the value that you can get out of this session. So without any further delay, let me begin by introducing our guests today, Piero Carino and Dylan Webster from Sport Careers. So guys, welcome. It's a real pleasure to have you on. Can you hear us okay, Piero and Dylan?
Hear you perfect, Diego. Hope you're all well, guys.
Excellent. Well, glad to have you on board today. So I'm going to load up a few slides and then I'll turn it over for your introduction. So let me just upload the presentation here and we can get started. But while I do that, maybe I'll turn it over to you guys. And why don't you tell us a little bit more about Sport Careers, what you guys do, and then we can begin with the conversation today.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Diego. I hope you're all well, guys. It's fantastic to connect with you all around the globe. It's fantastic. A little bit about ourselves. We initially started as a company through a sort of expertise within recruitment, training, HR, CV writing and job support. But it was very general in terms of we worked with people in various different industries, had great success in terms of working with individuals, creating and helping them with CV products, just to allow them to present themselves in the best way to get to interviews. Really good track record of that. The company kind of started in terms of Sport Careers. It started from we had a number of current professional football players that were looking to have a kind of CV put together that they could then use to help market themselves for future sort of coaching opportunities. And that kind of sprung a light and Sport Careers was formed. The company has grown a great deal over the last sort of 3 or 4 years. We now have a number of our kind of directors are current and former football players. We've expanded from simply helping people in terms of presenting themselves in the best way in regards to sort of marketing products, so the likes of the CVs and the LinkedIns and the cover letters and that type of thing, to also having a global job board as well, where it allows people within sport like you guys, but are obviously doing courses through Sports Business Institute Barcelona, to then apply for positions within football once you complete your courses. So yeah, the company's grown from that kind of support to then having the kind of global job board. We also, a lot of our clients will have their own sort of profile on our page as well, which gives them good exposure to clubs and organisations that are recruiting.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, why don't we start with what we want to cover today? And I think one of the main things that I'm sure a lot of people who are listening today are wondering about is their CV, because we all know that having a strong CV is very important. But for sports, specifically, it's really key to have the right CV, right? So tell us, guys, a little bit about what your experience tells you. What are some of the the key tips that we should be looking out for when preparing a CV for sports?
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on, Diego. It's very important when applying for jobs within sport, probably in particularly football, because it's such a crowded market, and there's so many people that have such great passion for sport and football that they're all looking for the same types of jobs, and they maybe have similar experiences, similar qualifications, they've maybe done similar degrees, but the CV can be so important to really kind of help you stand out from the crowded market and help you get to interviews. So yeah, I mean, the CV, it's really all about first impressions. It's the first evidence to a potential new employer, where they can see your written skills, your presentation skills, how you kind of structure the document to really kind of present yourself in the best way. And that's so important as well, because you find that when you apply for jobs, and particularly within football, that your CV can get looked at even within 20 to 30 seconds. There can be a judgment on whether you're going to be getting an interview or not. So it's about getting all the kind of key content up to the kind of top end of the CV to ensure that first kind of 20 seconds or so, you're really kind of selling yourself in the best way to help you stand out. We always find, I mean, obviously with the job board side of things as well, we work with clubs in terms of helping recruit for jobs. And so even ourselves, when we get CVs and we can see that someone's put a lot of time and effort into their application, we pass it on to the clubs. Whereas sometimes we'll see people that have maybe put in a CV where there's maybe not much effort being put into it in terms of the kind of the quality, the content, how it's structured, how it's presented, maybe not providing a cover letter. So often, if that was to be the case, clubs would look at it in a way that they've maybe not made much effort here, and I'm not that interested in the job. So putting a lot of effort into the CV and making sure that it's right and it sells you in the best way is so important. It's the first way in which you can fully kind of showcase your education, your background in terms of your experience, transferable skills, key achievements, and as I say, having all these kind of key components can really help you kind of stand out within that crowded market. So kind of key components you'd ask, Diego, in regards to the CV. One of the first things that's really important within the CV is having at the very top, you want to obviously have all your sort of contact details. Now, it would surprise you the amount of people that maybe would apply for a job and they wouldn't have a contact telephone number, email address, simple things like that. Obviously, what you can do as well is you can put in social media links. I wouldn't so much say that people sort of Twitter, Facebook. It's more your kind of LinkedIn profile, so your professional kind of online CV. So that's really important to ensure that all your contact details are obviously correct, so that prospective employers can contact you. Personal profile. That's a really key element that a lot of people miss out within the CV from our experience. It's a really good opportunity where you can say a bit about you, what your aims are, what kind of person you are. So it's getting across your key skills, and you can be very creative in the way in which you can write that, where you can help almost guide your CV down to a particular type of job or a specific role that you're looking to sort of go towards. So it allows you to provide almost like a kind of sales pitch about yourself very, very quickly. What we tend to do with the personal profile is maybe split it into 2 or 3 bullet points, where you can have a little bit about what you've done, your skills, and maybe then that last bullet point would then be kind of aiming your CV towards particular types of positions. Now, obviously, again, the education and qualifications is really important. So obviously the courses you're doing just now through the Business Institute, you want to kind of highlight them, top end of the CV, but you're really looking to focus the kind of education and qualifications towards the type of roles that you're looking to go towards. So for example, if you're doing a kind of marketing course, you want to highlight that course, cover sort of key modules that you've covered within that course. It might be that you've done various projects, so you maybe put the kind of project titles. There might be a little bit where you'd elaborate more on perhaps a kind of key project that you've done, and you'd maybe highlight that as kind of roles, responsibilities within that project, whether that be an individual one or a group one. So it's really kind of expanding on that education qualification section to ensure that it stands out, because it's the kind of thing that employers will want to know what you've been studying, what kind of projects you've been doing, because a lot of it could relate to the position that you're applying for. So really important to highlight any education qualifications that relate to the role you're going for. You obviously then want to do a sort of section on your experience, most importantly. You'd maybe have a career summary where you're perhaps highlighting the various roles that you've had that again are relevant to that particular type of position. So you'd maybe have your job title, perhaps the company that you worked on behalf of, or the club. You would then have the kind of dates that you worked in as well. So it allows them to very, very quickly see that the experience that you have in relation to the role that you're going for. Obviously, within each of those roles as well, there may be elements of key achievements. Again, a big error that a lot of people make is they'll maybe have their duties and their key achievements within the same kind of section in a narrative format. What we would suggest you do, and what we certainly do with our CVs, is breaking it down into bullet points. We'd have your responsibilities of, this is what I actually did within this position, and then split that off of then, this is what I achieved in this role. And it then allows your achievements to stand out more, so they can then see, well, that's what he did, and that's what he achieved within that position. And it's basically then working through all your roles that are relevant towards the position you're going for, and going over the kind of duties and achievements. Normally, in terms of experience, you maybe go back probably about 10 years in terms of experience. Anything, if there's anything in addition to that, that would maybe appear in like an additional career summary. But it means you're focusing on the roles that you've done in the more recent years, basically. Again, key skills, really important that you're getting across key skills. Rather than just having a key skills section, it's important to highlight where you've shown those key skills. So, for example, if you had experience of working within a team environment, being a good team player, you want to get across, teamwork, and then you'd maybe provide a competency in regards to when you've shown that key skill. Normally, what we would suggest is having the key skills and competency section at the end of the CV, because you want to get across a lot of your key skills within the actual content of the CV in regards to your responsibilities. So it can be a very good way of kind of rounding off your CV as well. Images is one of the things within the kind of graphic design CVs. You can incorporate maybe a profile picture. Sometimes some of you may have worked for large organizations or football clubs, so it may be that you can incorporate their sort of logos on the CV to help it kind of stand out more as well. Yeah, and another thing would be testimonials, but we'll cover that in the next slide.
Yeah, so tell us more about the testimonial. So how important is it to have, the people that you've worked with, add that, adding that to the CV? Why is that such a key component that you guys feel is important to add?
Well, quite often, a CV is very much, it's matter of fact, where you're saying, this is what I've done, these are my qualifications, this is what my degree is, these are my achievements, whereas a testimonial can be 100% personal. The CV's not often written in a personal tone, it's normally a kind of third person tone, so the testimonial is very kind of personal, where you can maybe in your CV say, this is what I've done, but someone else might be able to say, such and such is very good because of these reasons. So they can say why you were good within your position, which is something you obviously can't say about yourself. So it's good to get reputable people that you may have worked with, or it could be tutors from your courses. It could be people you've reported to in certain roles. But you'll probably know yourself, guys, in terms of maybe key people you've worked with in your career, whether it be from an employment perspective or an education background. You'll have key people that you've worked with that would speak well of you. And that obviously adds a lot of credibility to the CV. And again, if you're going for particular jobs, it's worth thinking about people that would be good to incorporate as testimonials that would be suited towards the kind of roles that you're going for. Obviously, again, it can save employers time in terms of chasing up recommendations, references, because they're already on the CV. And again, you don't want to have too many. You want to have maybe 2, 3 at the most, because you don't want to take the focus away from your career and your duties and your achievements and skills, etc. But it can be good when you're sending your CV to a club, for example, if you've got key people within the industry speaking well of you, it can really add a lot of value to the CV and help sell you that little bit better. And it could be that difference in terms of getting you the interview and not. So yeah, Diego, to answer your question, that they're so important.
Interesting. Because I'm sure this is something that perhaps many people overlook, and I know a lot of people that are looking to get into the football industry or the sports industry have experience and have worked with influential individuals in the industry. So it's a matter of trying to get some type of testimonial that can add weight to the CV. So that's a really interesting tip.
Yeah, absolutely. We see so many CVs, as you'll know, and the amount of people that would maybe miss off that kind of thing when they speak to them about it, like, well, it's a great idea, I never thought of that. And they have fantastic people that they've worked with, that would speak so well of them. Once that gets added to the CV, it just takes it to the next level.
Right. Interesting. Now, speaking about improving your chances of landing jobs and particularly getting to the interview stage, tell us a little bit more based on your experience. What are some of those tips that our audience can benefit from as far as improving their opportunities to get to that interview stage?
Yeah, I mean, the kind of obviously, there'll be a number of ways in which you can apply for jobs. There'll be job boards. We've got our own global sport job board, which Dylan's going to speak about. He manages that. There's various other kind of job boards you'll find. You might look at the likes of Indeed as well. You'll have jobs on LinkedIn, which is obviously another really important thing that we'll speak about. There's also sometimes the kind of hidden job market, where there's maybe not a job there, but through good networking, sometimes jobs can be created. So it's about being really proactive. In particular in the football and the sport industry, you need to be proactive to really sort of get your name out there. There's obviously some facts there that you'll see at the top, but more than 75% of people who apply for jobs have no chance due to the poor way they make the application. So kind of reference back to what I said at the very start. So many people apply for jobs, and it's very, very lazy the way in which they do it, where they just kind of throw in a CV. There's no kind of sign of any kind of research into the role. There's no cover letter. So it is absolutely crucial that you make the effort in producing a strong CV and a good tailored cover letter towards the kind of positions that you're going for. It just makes a massive amount of difference. If you think of the kind of courses that you've done, how much money you spent on educating yourself, it would be so silly not to present yourself in the best way. So it's so crucial. Often, we hear the person that got the job is not as good as me, but quite often it can be down to the application was better. There's so many people we work with and they maybe aren't getting interviews, but it's not so much down to their background or their experience or qualification, it's just how they've presented themselves. Lo and behold, once they have a stronger CV and marketing products, they start getting interviews. So it's as I say, it's so important. And again, because you feel the right person, it doesn't mean to say that it's going to happen for you. So these are little tips that they can really sort of help you, as well as obviously applying for jobs. Is you might see a job and you can use the likes of LinkedIn or maybe people that you might have inside information to establish key contacts that you can then speak to. You might be able to then apply directly, perhaps send them your CV, perhaps send them a cover letter. Normally the best way of that would be LinkedIn. So if you were going for a particular job within a club, it might be that you can then it might say send your CV and cover letter to such and such, in which case you can maybe find that person on LinkedIn, you can connect with them, you can say, hi such and such, give a little bit about yourself and say, I'm going to be applying for this role. It's really of interest to me. If you're establishing that connection already, they're already waiting on your application coming through. So that can really help. It might be that, for example, there's a job at the moment at Manchester United's senior digital campaign manager. It might be someone at Man United within that department that can speak well of you, so that when you send your application in, they can say, oh yeah, such and such is a really good candidate, who would be a really good fit for the role. So that can help you in terms of getting to the interview. As I said before, do your research on the role. Ensure that you really kind of study the job specification, the person spec, the type of person they're looking for. You wouldn't often sort of tailor your CV towards a particular job, because it might be different kind of jobs you want to go for. It's more the job of the cover letter where you can really look at what they're looking for and then tailor your experience and skill set and background towards that particular job. But obviously we'll speak about the cover letter in a second. But really make sure you're doing your research on the role that you're going for. Sometimes make a call as well. So it might be that you can call that individual and have a little chat with them about the role and speak about your kind of relevant experience as well. So that can certainly help. And then obviously, as I said before, is writing a top class cover letter. It makes such a difference. And quite often, a cover letter, if you don't write one, your application can be void straight away. So it's about really tailoring your background and experience towards a particular job.
Absolutely. No, I think these are really key tips that are important to remind ourselves of, and particularly the one about researching the role. I think that's really essential. I mean, the more information you're able to get and to understand about the organization, the needs, the culture, and of course you don't have access to all of the insider information, but that we're in an age where there's so much information out there, and the people who
Absolutely.
do to research and look for more about the organization are the ones that are able then to tailor
Yes.
to their to their specific roles that are being advertised. So tell us more about that. I mean, how do you tailor your cover letters? What are some key tips on that when you're submitting a cover letter?
So yeah, a cover letter, I mean, the cover letter, as I said before, it's such an important part of the application. It allows you, a lot of people say, what's the difference between a CV and a cover letter? The CV is very much, as I said before, a matter of fact, where you're saying, this is my background, these are the kind of roles I'm looking to go towards, these are my key skills, this is what I've achieved, etc. Whereas a cover letter allows you then to go, you know, a little bit about yourself, so a little kind of introduction. You'd maybe have a short paragraph on why you're applying for the particular job. And then what we tend to do with our cover letters, as you'll see from the kind of slide, it's a little bit faint, but you can see the kind of structure of it. You'd maybe kind of highlight 3 or 4 bullet points that relate you to the job. So you're, as I say, you're studying the job specification, the person specification. You know, you're looking at, you'd often use your CV for this as well, because you'd look at your experience, your skills, your achievements, and you would then pick out, as I say, 3 or 4 points that really relate you to the position. So you're saying, you know, I'm the right candidate for this job for the following reasons. And then you'd have those kind of bullet points. And then just a very good way of kind of closing the letter with a little sort of summary at the end as well.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that's just an example of a kind of structure, but you'd obviously have the address up there, who it's going to, but we see so many cover letters that are, you know, 2 or 3 pages long, and it's just too much. You want it to be kind of short, sharp, to the point.
Absolutely, absolutely. I always like to, you know, whenever people ask me for advice and what works, I always think that you know, employers, irrespective of the industry, but particularly in sport, they're looking for, you know, for several key things, and that's, can you do the job? So tell them, you know, and justify that you can do the job. Will you do the job? So also talk about the motivation. And will you fit in? So I think trying to answer those questions within a cover letter is important. And as you've clearly laid out here with this structure, I think it's very useful for us to see how to really structure it and make sure we don't go overboard, as you said, to have, you know, a number of pages, but keep it succinct, but very, very specific to, you know, adding value to your profile. So really,
no, we find a lot of people find it kind of challenging doing cover letters, but you're right. All you're saying is, you know, you're demonstrating why you're suitable for the job and for the following reasons, because I have such and such experience. So yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But that gives you guys a good idea in terms of how you can now go and structure your cover letters going forward. I know Diego's going to send this presentation anyway to you. So it's obviously something you can reference back to. Diego, is it okay if we speak a little bit about our global job board? Because obviously that's very
absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. I'll pass this on to Dylan, because that says Dylan runs the job board.
Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'm just going to cover the global job board that we operate just a bit. So basically on the site, we source jobs from all over the world, mainly in football, but we include sports, say like rugby, cricket, basketball, swimming, all that type of thing. A wide range of opportunities at all levels. So from the kind of top level executives all the way down to kind of low level coaches that are just starting out. So whether you're involved in the coaching side or sports science, medicine, business side of things, we offer something on the job board for everyone. So it's free to use, but there's different membership levels that we offer also. It's free basic level, which gives you access to all the jobs on the board. Elite level, which is adds you to a CV searchable database, and also the elite hosting, which is for our clients. So I'll focus a bit on the kind of business side of things, the kind of marketing end. We've got a number of key roles on the board at the moment. So as Piero mentioned earlier, we've got a job with Manchester United as a senior digital campaign manager. Sky Sports News are offering a graduate placement, which would be perfect for some of you guys. An 11-month contract to work behind the scenes at Sky Sports News, which is a great opportunity for people like yourselves. Marketing and communications manager in Northern New South Wales in Australia, which is great if you want to go abroad. Up here at Aberdeen, business development executive. These are just some of the roles that we offer in the Premier League and La Liga all over the world. So like I said, there really is something for everybody. We also source a lot of jobs and we recruit for them, as Piero might have mentioned earlier. Popular job destinations like Qatar, China, and the USA. So if you sign up for our job board, you will get a lot of exclusive jobs that you won't find anywhere else in the world. So that's a definite perk of signing up and using our job board. So that's basically the job board for you.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So people can go and sign up for free, and obviously there's a premium level, and I'm sure you guys will cover this a little bit later on. But that's really great to know that you guys have you know, the job boards available with not just football but all over sports. So interesting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It just allows the guys, obviously, once they've completed their courses, it's a good use, like you say, Diego. You can sign up for free. There's different kind of levels there, but it means, you know, you've got your marketing products. They're ready. They're good to go. It's then a case of finding out what kind of jobs are out there that suit your kind of background and the kind of roles you're looking for. And then any you see, you can then apply with your CV. And then obviously then, as I spoke about before, you then tailor your cover letter and really kind of research the role and find contacts and that kind of thing.
Right. Now, another thing we haven't touched upon, but I know you guys, you know, provide really, really good tips on this as well, is LinkedIn, because now everybody's using LinkedIn, everybody's on LinkedIn. But how do we optimize? I mean, what are the benefits of using LinkedIn, and what are some of the best practices that you would suggest for us to, you know, to apply when using LinkedIn?
So LinkedIn is very much, there's millions of people on it, as you say, Diego, and especially in the kind of football world, the sporting world. It's a fantastic way of networking with maybe key people that you kind of worked with in the past, or maybe identifying new contacts. But we see it as very much an online CV. So you've got your kind of CV that you apply for jobs. As I spoke about before, when in terms of sort of applying for jobs, LinkedIn, there's lots and lots of jobs that come up on there as well. So you would use their kind of job board for sort of any opportunities that come up also, and you pretty much apply using your LinkedIn profile. So that's why it's so important that you've got a strong LinkedIn profile as well. So we very much see it as like an online CV. So you've got your actual CV, then you've got this online CV, which just gives you that kind of stronger online presence. You'll see some examples of LinkedIn profiles designed here. More of a kind of rugby background, but it relates anyway. It just gives you an idea of how they can be presented. And again, you can use imagery and logos and that type of thing just to help it kind of stand out. But yeah, a great way of using it is like I said before, people you've worked with in the past that can endorse you. Perhaps you've worked at certain clubs or organisations, so the people that you've worked with, your peers, your colleagues, can endorse you for your key skills. It's important you've got a good kind of key skills section on there. And it's good just to stay connected with them, because if you've done a good job whilst working with them, they might say, oh, such and such is, you know, he's got a strong profile, he's looking for these kind of opportunities, I might have something for him. So it's always good to stay connected with guys and girls you've worked with throughout your career, because you never know what opportunities can come to you that way. I'd say kind of course leaders, dissertation tutors, so the kind of courses you've done here, you know, you might have done degrees and master's degrees in the past as well. So it's staying in contact with tutors who can then endorse you for your attitude and work rate as a student. So really important to stay connected with them. General sporting contacts. So it might be that you have a target. You might want to go and work in Major League Soccer. So you might want to work with one of the clubs over there. So what it does, it allows you to maybe, you might go on a club website. So say, for example, you go on the New York Red Bulls because you want to work that kind of area. It allows you to find key contacts on their website. You can then look them up on LinkedIn. You can connect with them. You know, you can introduce yourself. So you tend to use a lot of the information you use in your cover letter when you're introducing yourself, and you can attach your CV. So it's a very, very good way of being proactive and getting your name out there to a global audience of contacts. You'll find that a lot of clubs, recruiters, HR will use LinkedIn to identify talent. So having a strong profile obviously allows you then to have keywords in your profile. So it enhances your opportunities of being headhunted if they're doing sort of keyword searches. So yeah, LinkedIn is really good. As I say, you maybe have target areas where you can just connect with key contacts. And yeah, it's just good to have a good online presence, because you never know who's looking at your profile. So it's important, again, guys, if you're once you get your CV up to scratch how you want it to be, your cover letter, it's equally as important to have a really strong LinkedIn profile just for that online presence and kind of connecting with really good contacts within clubs and organisations abroad. You really have to be proactive in sport, in particular football, because it's as I say, it's such a crowded market that you need to get your name out there and really sort of plug away at it.
Right. So very good, very interesting, and yeah, I think the power of LinkedIn in this day and age is evident. So it's good to hear that you guys are providing some interesting insight and tips on what you've seen works. Right. So just want to remind everybody to stick around because there will be a Q&A period in just a moment. But before we move on to the Q&A, guys, where do we find out about your services? How do we find out about sports careers and what you guys offer?
Yeah, so I mean, you can certainly jump onto our website. The contact details are at the end of the presentation, but the website is www.sportcareers.co.uk. It takes 2 minutes. You can sign up to a free membership and have a little look about the site. As Dylan had spoke about, there's various levels of the job board where you can sign up for free, and you get a certain number of jobs that you can apply for. There's also kind of full job board access, which is as little as £2.99 per month, where you can apply for different all the kind of positions that come up on the job board. You can then apply for. As Dylan had said, there's a lot of exclusive ones that only we would get. So yeah, some really good jobs there. Obviously, our core services in terms of the marketing product side of things, I mean, this is very much an advice service today. You do have the option, if you wanted to have us professionally write and design your CV. We do traditional CVs, graphic design CVs. We would also relay that then and design your LinkedIn profile professionally. And we also do kind of generic cover letters, which would allow you then to tailor it towards different jobs. Or you might have a specific job you want to go for, and we can tailor your cover letter towards that particular job. Our packages have been discounted for Sports Business Institute Barcelona students and start from £115. But certainly you can have a free consultation. So my contact details are certainly at the end of the presentation, and I know you'll have a copy of that anyway, so you can contact me on the mobile or my email address there as well.
Fantastic. No, that's great to hear about what you guys are offering, and especially for our SBI community to know that there's that special rate. So I'm sure a lot of people would want to know more about what you guys are doing. Perfect. Well, thank you, Piero. Thank you, Dylan, for taking the time with us and give us these tips. I think at this time, probably the best thing is to turn it over to our audience to see if they have any questions. So now it's your opportunity to speak with experts in the field who deal with this day in, day out. If you have any questions about how to optimize your job search, your profile, some tips that you may want to hear about, go ahead and type them in the chat box now. And both Piero and Dylan will be prepared to answer them. So we have a question here, guys, from Alonso Cruz from Colombia. Hola, Alonso, welcome to the webinar. So he says he's just finished his master's in sports management, but he's got no experience in the industry. So, is there any tips you can offer him to make his CV better? And Alonso, I recommend that you get in touch with Piero and Dylan at Sport Careers, as I'm sure they'll be able to provide you with more detailed information. But just in general now, Piero, is there anything that you would recommend for Alonso as to how he could improve his CV if he's got no experience?
Yes, sorry, what was the course Alonso had done? Hi, Alonso.
So Alonso, he hasn't specified us here, but he did a master in sports management.
Okay, okay, perfect. So what we would suggest, we work with a lot of obviously student graduates who maybe haven't had much experience within the kind of roles that they're looking to go towards. So certainly, referring back to the kind of personal profile, you really want to kind of highlight sort of your sort of key skill. You probably want to, within your personal profile, highlight your master's degree, the key skills that you've maybe kind of used or learned or practiced from doing the master's course. And then the kind of final point in the bullet in the personal profile would be kind of angling your CV towards those types of roles or towards business roles. What I would then suggest you do is really focus on that master's. So that's very much for you, because you don't have the work experience as yet. That'll obviously change as your career goes on, but you would focus on the course. You'd highlight the sort of key modules that you covered within the various different years. You'd maybe have kind of project titles. I would then, if there's been any kind of key projects that you've maybe done, you could almost suggest that being work experience. So the projects that you've done, you'd maybe have a project section. So you'd maybe have the project title, what your roles and responsibilities were in that project, what the outcome was. So any kind of key projects, really what I'm saying is really kind of bring out your masters within that first page. So the structure of your CV would be that kind of personal profile, angling it towards business management, and then focusing on the course, the key modules, the key projects. I would then look to ask your tutor for a written testimonial where he can speak about your attitude and work rate as a student and how you would be suitable then to go into the workplace. So it then means that the first kind of 20 seconds of the CV is very focused on what you're looking to do.
Okay, very good. Very interesting point. So Alonso, there you go. You can highlight some of the projects that you've done in your master's. Interesting. Thank you for that question, Alonso.
Probably to add to that, sorry Diego, probably to add to that would be with Alonso, rather than having his key skills at the back of the CV, it's probably something where we would highlight his key skills and competencies at the front of the CV. So maybe underneath that education experience, he would then focus on a lot of the key skills that he's practiced during that course, and then elaborate on them, providing competencies of when he's shown those skills.
Right. Interesting. We have another question here from Cosmin, and he asks an interesting point here. He says, are there any unconventional approaches that you found are working when applying for a job, other than the classic CV and cover letter or networking?
I think, as I spoke about, the LinkedIn tool, as you'd rightly said, Diego, it's huge now. It's so important to use LinkedIn to its best capacity. So obviously having the strong CV and the good cover letter will really help you. But as we spoke about, that kind of generating contacts. So if you see a job, it's doing your research in terms of key contacts within that organisation. You can maybe connect with them, introduce yourself. They then are expecting your application to come through, so you've already established that connection. And again, it's important that your LinkedIn profile is strong as well at that stage, so that you're introducing yourself in the most professional way. But probably, yeah, I would say the best tactic, other than the CV and the cover letter, is very much what we spoke about in terms of identifying key contacts. You might have contacts you know that might work in that club or organisation that can put in a good word for you, so that little bit of inside information. The main thing is really putting in the research to the role, getting the right application in there. But as I say, the networking side is so important, and that's seen a lot of our clients have certainly used LinkedIn in that much better way, and it's helped them find new opportunities.
Right. Okay. Excellent. We have a question also from Kyle, and he says, do you guys at Sport Careers engage with universities at all to promote opportunities and support student graduates? So are you guys doing anything with that with universities, or?
Yes, probably Dylan's area. He covers a lot of the kind of partnerships with the universities and the colleges.
Basically, Diego, we've been looking into partnerships with more universities all over the world, in the UK in particular at the moment. We're talking to the likes of Southampton Solent, Cardiff Metropolitan, so it's something we're looking to expand upon and do similar things to what we're doing here. So in the future, it's likely that we will have more partnerships with universities and colleges to do more things like this and help more students get into the workplace.
We see a lot of the clubs and organisations we work with will have a number of internship graduate opportunities, which you'll see on the job board. But it's certainly something we're looking to do more of, as Dylan says, in terms of working with colleges, universities, going in there, introducing those types of roles to them. So yeah, it's certainly something, and obviously with you guys as well, this partnership is something that we see going further and further as well.
Right. Okay, great. There's several questions coming through, so we'll try to get to some of these. And we have one from Alex, and I'm assuming he's coming from Canada, because he says Canada will be launching its professional soccer league next year. Do you guys have any advice as to how to properly connect with them when they haven't posted any jobs yet?
Basically, the Canadian Football League, they've got a lot of presence on LinkedIn at the moment. So as Piero mentioned earlier about the connections and the networking on LinkedIn being very important, I would recommend that you use LinkedIn to connect with the people there. And that way, when the jobs do come up, you'll either see them on their timelines, or you can directly approach them and ask them when will the jobs be available, or put your name in the hat for the jobs.
Sometimes it's that hidden job market where the job's not actually being created yet, but it's something where if you are good with your kind of networking and getting your CV in there and maybe making that call to the club, it allows you to speak to the right people, introduce your background and experience, and where you would be a good sort of candidate for them for particular whatever role it may be, Alex, within the club, and you can then, they might say, well, here's my email address, send me your CV, and you would then send your CV and do a strong cover letter for them. It might lead to a face-to-face meeting. So as Dylan says, LinkedIn, hugely important, but it's also, if you're over there, it's maybe making the call to the clubs and seeing who the key contacts are that you can speak to.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, interesting. Very good. We have some great comments and questions. People saying thank you for the presentation. It's very insightful. Right, excellent. Thank you for.
Great, excellent.
We have here a question from Nikos Pantelis. Hi, Nikos.
Hi, Nikos.
So he says he recently obtained his master's degree in event management. He's at entry level and he's gained some experience organizing events, conferences, etc. But he wants to work for a football club, and he's thinking how he could get involved in hospitality, marketing, or the foundation of a football club. He's currently doing open applications, and he's asking, is that good? And what should be, what else should he be doing? Any recommendations for him, given that he has experience in event management, but perhaps doesn't have a sports management degree?
I would say certainly that's where in the personal profile you want to get across your sort of Nikos, you probably want to get across your passion and experience within event management. So the personal profile allows you to have that little bit about you section, as I spoke about, where you would really get across all your experience within event management. Get across your key skills, and probably that bottom kind of paragraph would be, not paragraph, more kind of bullet point would be speaking about your passion for sport and wanting to work within, say for example, be a football club. It's getting that across within the personal profile. I would then suggest if you've done your kind of event management course, again really kind of focusing on that course. The key sort of modules, and maybe if there's any sort of experience that would relate to, I'm not sure if any of the event management experience, if there was anything on the course that might be sport related that you can draw out within the CV, but certainly I would on that first page draw out a lot of your event management experience that you have, and perhaps for you as well, Nikos, it would be bringing the key skills section forward onto the first page, so that you can get across all the skills that you've kind of used and practiced for event management roles. But within that personal profile, it's really getting across that passion for wanting to work within the sport industry or football.
If I could as well, Nikos, what I would look at is potentially looking to volunteer for if you can get into clubs or contacting clubs through LinkedIn or directly, just volunteering your services to gain some sort of experience, because that would always help add to your CV. So if you can do that, I would definitely look at that.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic point Dylan makes there, and that's for any kind of, not just for Nikos. If you know, it might be the ones at the start in terms of the business management side of things. You know, if there's anything you can do, so kind of networking with key contacts and clubs, if there's anything you can do where you're maybe not getting paid for it, but that experience, getting that experience in your CV is invaluable, because it then means that when you're updating your CV, that sports related experience would go on the first page, because that's the most relevant.
Good point. Good point. Maybe we'll have a couple more as we're getting close to the hour mark.
No problem.
We have one from Amar, and Amar, hi, nice to see you. Amar is connecting from Pakistan. He's SBI alumni, and he has a question about putting pictures on CV, and that's a great question actually, because he says, you know, in some places it's not recommended to put a picture, and in others it's standard practice. So what is your suggestion for the sports industry? Is it on depending on the market, or you know, what are your thoughts on putting a picture on the CV?
Well, certainly in the sports industry, it's, as we said, it's a very competitive industry, and I think if you were to, certainly from our experience of working with clients and getting interviews and getting jobs, etc., the comments from employers and clubs has always been very positive in terms of the kind of profile picture. You might have certain, could be in terms of business roles, it's maybe more kind of corporate images you might have if you're delivering presentations. It's maybe incorporating sort of club, company logos. For me, I think it would be great to have the Sports Business Institute Barcelona logo on your CV. It really kind of enhances it, helps it stand out. And the kind of graphics and the logos and the images allows your CV, as well as it being, the most importantly, the content and the structures right, the presentation and making it eye-catching is crucial as well. So I think especially if you're going for a businessy type of role, you probably want your CV to be pretty clean and corporate. You're maybe incorporating colours like navy, black, grey type theme, but having a very kind of corporate looking sort of profile picture, and then the company logos can just really give it that kind of polished and professional finish.
Right. Excellent. Okay. Well, maybe we'll finish off with one more question, and then I know there's a few others that you know, that are interested in more information. So you guys have Piero's email, and you have you know, Sport Careers. You can follow them online and through the website. But Efren Ramirez, he writes in and he says that he recently moved to Spain from the US, where he got his master's in sports management and an MBA from the University of Massachusetts. But he says that in Spain, they don't know much about this program and how big it is and the reputation that it has back in the US. So, you know, he's got some experience in sporting events and marketing consulting and sports innovation. But what do you suggest good tips for him? I mean, if he wants to highlight that program that perhaps they don't know so much about it on this side of the pond.
I would maybe say if that does, if it's a reputable type of course, there might be something like a little statement that can go at the top of the CV about how big it is over in the US, to make the people aware in Spain of, you know, how big a course it is. But again, I would draw lots of attention to the course in terms of the title, the modules, probably having a kind of a testimonial from the kind of course tutor and course leader, just to really kind of make it stand out as much as possible. But yeah, maybe if there's a kind of statement as such on the course that could maybe go at the top of the CV, it would then allow them to see how big it is, really, is probably what I would suggest to do. Yeah, probably along those lines. That'd probably be the best way to help it stand out. And I would say certainly would go underneath the personal profile to really make sure that it kind of stands out. Maybe having the kind of university logo as well helps enhance it.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you for that great question, Efren, and good luck. And good luck to everybody that signed on to the webinar today. As you've seen here, you can contact Sport Careers, Piero, Dylan. I'm sure we'll be ready to help you guys out if you want more information as to how to optimize your opportunities, whether it's through enhancing your CV or your LinkedIn profile or your cover letters and some of the other services that they offer. So do get in touch with them at Sport Careers. Finally, before we sign off, I just want to mention to our audience today, that we have our football marketing and management course starting on February 19th. So for those of you that are looking to add to your CV and you want to put more weight, this is a course that focuses on the business side of sport, looking at it from different angles. So it's a 2-month program. We look at the business side of sport and how to generate revenue from the industry, made up of live conference sessions and an online campus starting the Monday 19th of February. So there's the information if you want to take part. That said, I want to thank everybody that joined us today for being here, being present. The fact that you're here definitely shows that you have the drive, you have the motivation to continue pushing forward and going for that dream of working in sports. As we all know, it's a competitive sector, but when you are able to optimize your opportunities, and by having some of the great tips that both Piero and Dylan shared with us today, really, let us know about, how you can really leverage that and optimize your opportunities. So I want to thank both Piero and Dylan for being here today. It's been really, really great, and the feedback from the chat is already very positive from people. Apologies if we didn't get to all of your questions. There were so many that were coming through that we couldn't deal with all of them. But like I said, get in touch with Sport Careers if you want to get in touch with us as well. We're always looking to add value to our community, and today was no exception with the great presentation that both Piero and Dylan shared with us here on this online workshop. So that's it, guys. Dylan and Piero, any final comments that you wanted to share before we sign off?
Just thank you very much, Diego, for the opportunity to speak with everyone today. Thanks everyone for your time. As we spoke about, and as Diego has said there, you're all working hard to get yourself qualified. So important that you're producing a strong CV, you're producing strong cover letters, you've got a good online presence. You're really kind of doing your research on the roles that you're applying for, making the effort. It just goes such a long way. So yeah, that would be my last piece of advice. But guys, again, thank you very much for your time this morning today.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys. Really appreciate you guys taking the time and sharing these excellent tips with all of us today. And once again, to everybody that connected, we look forward to engaging with you at a future webinar or a course or any event that, whether it's through Sport Careers or the Sports Business Institute Barcelona, we'll be very glad to engage with you yet again. So that said, bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend and keep chasing your career goals. So all the best. See you next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.